How's it going, everyone? Half of Jojo back at it again. We're doing another What I Eat in a Day video where I react to what typically overweight people eat in a day, and I make better recommendations based off of their current diet and stuff like that, and what they're eating, and say, oh, don't eat this instead, the usual stuff. I must apologize. I look rough. I need to shave, but as you can see there, I get like so much shit on my skin every time I shave. Like I get so much like ingrown hairs and stuff that it takes months to kind of heal, and it's annoying. So sometimes I have to go ages and ages without shaving, and then repeat the process again where it clears up, and then I shave, and then it fucks up again. So yeah, I apologize if I look a bit homeless, but yes, before I start waffling, get into too much of a rant, let's get started with this video. I've got one lined up again, as usual. Don't be a dick to anyone in the videos and stuff like that. It's just for entertainment at the end of the day. And also, I haven't watched it yet. I watched like the first couple seconds and then decide whether or not it's worth kind of making a video on, but I haven't watched past the first like 5-10 seconds or so. So without any further ado, let's get into it together. Okay, so we have our first one here, so let's get started without any further ado.
This is what I eat in a day as a plus size person, and
okay, I've just seen over 4,000 calories already. Damn. I mean, at least the drink's low calorie, only 10 calories. That's like a typical kind of energy drink macros.
my total calorie count for the day is over 4,000 calories. I started off with a dream float alone.
That's a lot.
You're gonna see a bunch of these.
Damn, I do love those, but they can be quite high. They really can be quite high. Like all of those, I reckon, is easily like 300 calories for that whole tray right there. I mean, I could be wrong. It could even be more, but depending on what's in it, and if they're really oily, they look a bit oily. Look like there's some chili oil and stuff on it. It could be soy sauce or something, but I don't know. It looks a bit orange, so it's probably like chili oil or something.
Because that's pretty much the only Alani new I currently have. For breakfast, I had 2 trays of...
Oh, I just realized that's for breakfast. That's fucking diabolical. Yeah. I completely forgot we're doing what I eat in a day, and we're starting off at breakfast. Damn, that's absolutely diabolical.
Of pork dumplings. I genuinely could not help myself at all because I have not.
Okay, so at least it's got some protein in it, but not enough, and it's pork, which is one of the highest calorie meats you can probably eat, to be honest. Especially if you don't buy like the lean kind of pork stuff.
Able to find them in so long. I just had to eat 2. I thought about eating one, but I needed both.
Yeah, you just had to. You couldn't have just had one or none at all. Gone for something a bit more, reasonable. Something a bit more filling, so you're not gonna want to eat shit throughout the rest of the day.
Needed both. The whole day turned rapidly bad and was all over the place.
Yeah, the whole day turned rapidly bad because you started off your first meal with something that's like not at all satiating and doesn't have like many nutrients and stuff in it at all. You're getting a little bit of protein, but for the most part it's probably carbs and fat. It's not a good start to your day.
After this, I finished off the box of cereal I had, so I think that ended up...
Box of cereal? What, like... You had a little bit left and you finished it, or you had just had a whole box or something? It's probably the former, but
Being like 3 bowls of cereal.
Okay, I don't think it is the former. It probably was the latter. Jesus Christ.
Yes, I said 3 bowls of cereal. Well, I will say though, I did have almond milk with it. It wasn't regular.
I mean, that's probably worse. I mean, I'm pretty sure almond milk, at least compared to skim milk, is like way more calories. Damn. No, that is diabolical. It's like I've been saying, guys. I said this and I've hammered it in. over and over and over again. If you do not start off your day with like a reasonable, like kind of decently protein kind of meal with a decent amount of carbs, something satiating to where you're not going to be hungry within the next 2-3 hours or so at least, you know. But if you start your day off by eating shit like that, it rapidly devolves, because what you're going to do is you're going to have these really quite low satiating foods, and you're going to be like, fuck me, I'm hungry. You know, I've just eaten 2 trays of dumplings or wonton, whatever the fuck, but now I'm hungry again. I've just had 3 bowls of cereal, and now I'm hungry again, because it's not satiating. It's just pure carbs and fat, a little bit of protein in the case of the dumplings, but with the cereal, it's just sugar and carbs, and probably fat as well. You know, it just doesn't fill you up. It just makes you feel hungry straight after. I've said plenty of times, the best thing to have in the morning is something high protein and with some carbs in there, and something you can kind of bulk out with like fruit or something like that, you know, like a again, one of my favorite things, a bowl of yogurt, some fruit and some oats, like a whole pot of yogurt, like a 450 500 gram pot of Greek yogurt or something like that, the whole thing with some fruit and some oats. It's quite satiating. It fills you up at least until lunchtime, right? Or, you know, eggs on toast, something with eggs, you know, anything like that, whatever, just anything way more, just anything with more protein and anything with a decent amount of carbs, and that shit will keep you going for quite a while. Even if it's not the biggest portion you've ever eaten, it keeps you at least satiated until lunchtime. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm fucking starving, you know?
Milk. And I'm sorry if the video is off, but then later on for dinner, I ended up going to Sonic and I had a double bacon cheeseburger with fries.
Damn it, and then a burger after. Yeah. It's like I said, and it's even like she said, you know, it just rapidly devolves when you just eat shit food like this. It just rapidly kind of devolves. You need to be having more satiating, bulkier meals, really. You know, like a low calorie, bulkier meal. For example, like I said, that whole pot of yogurt that I mentioned that I have pretty much every day is like at max 280 calories, depending on which one I have. Some of them are higher protein with more calories, some of them are lower protein with less calories. There's like a vanilla one which is less calories, but it's like a natural yogurt which is more calories. But they're roughly between that ballpark, and with the fruit and oats it's like an extra 150 calories at most, so it comes to like less than 400 calories almost for the whole thing. And it keeps me going. It doesn't make me want to eat shit until at least I start getting hungry around lunchtime or something. But with this, with the dumplings and everything like that, it just makes you hungry within like an hour at most. Even that, probably 10 minutes. And then, you know, later on you start ordering burgers and fries or chips or whatever, and then you're just like, oh yeah, fuck me, why not? You know, I've already fucked it today, so I'm just gonna keep going and fuck it even more.
Fries and a root beer. Oh, and I even forgot I had some cheese sticks as well.
Okay, so that was absolutely diabolical. That was insane. So it started off with like, oh, I'm gonna have these 2 fucking big thingies of wontons or dumplings or whatever. Oh, but then I just decided to have a whole box of cereal, just polish off a whole box of cereal, 3 whole big massive bowls of fucking, what was it, like kind of cinnamon square thingies. But it's okay because I use almond milk, even though I'm pretty sure almond milk has more calories than, like I say, a skim milk. But nah, yeah. Oh, and then a burger after, of course. Burger and fries. And then some cheese sticks, you know. I'm not gonna repeat myself with like how things devolve again, because I already probably talked about it like fucking 5 times in this video alone. But yeah, eating like high calorie dense foods that aren't very satiating like that really does lead you down a path of just eating shit like all day. It's not worth it, really. Anyway, that's that video covered. I don't have much more to say about it because it was all kind of just absolutely insane. Nah, 4,000 calories for anyone is just kind of insane. You know, I'm pretty sure even people who are on a bulk don't even eat that much. Like, damn, Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's get on to the next one. Right, we have another one here. So the caption says, no mention of calories, and then we've got what I eat in a day as a fat bitch who very controversially does not give a fuck that she is fat. For some reason TikTok keeps fucking playing when I'm trying to talk. Stop. Alright? Stop it. Okay? Alright, anyway, as I was gonna say, you might not care that you're fat, but tell you what does care that you're fat, your fucking body when you reach like 30 years old and you're just like shutting down and everything's going wrong. You know, you got diabetes and all sorts of different diseases caused by obesity, stuff like that. You got joint pain, horrible shit like that. I don't know. You know, the thing is, there's so many things that can go wrong when you're overweight, right? So many different diseases, disabilities, and stuff like that, which can incur because you are massive, right? Now, however, I've just got to say quickly that yes, obviously things can happen to anyone, regardless of whether they're overweight or not. You know, someone can still get like horrible shit like diabetes, fucking PCOS, stuff like that, even if you're not overweight. But let's be honest, if you are massively overweight like this person, you are more likely to get it than someone who is more an average weight, if that makes sense. So yes, you can still get different diseases and disabilities and stuff like that, even if you're an average healthy weight, but you are way more likely to get disabilities, diseases, etc., etc., if you are big, right? For example, I used to be very pre-diabetic. I can't remember what it was called, but I think it's called hyperglycemia or something like that, which basically just means you've got really fucking high blood pressure and your body kind of overcompensates the amount of glucose you produce when you eat carbs and stuff like that. So basically, I was eating carbs and I was putting on excess kind of weight because it's producing excess glucose or something like that in my body, or some shit like that. Basically, like probably 2 steps away from full-on fucking basically, you know, diabetes, right? Type 2. And also because that was heretical as well. Like, I had someone in my family who I never met, died before I was born, but they, you know, they had diabetes, and because of that, I'm more likely to have it, you know. So yeah, I was on metformin tablets as well at like a very young age, probably like 8 to 10 years old. That's pretty insane, I know. But basically, that was a thing, you know. I did have a more likely chance of getting it because it's hereditary, but at the same time, because I was so overweight, I was really fucking big, it was incurring in me a lot more than it would have if I was just an average weight, if that makes sense. So yes, you can still get diseases and stuff, disabilities and stuff when you're an average weight, but you are more likely to get it a lot speedier or stuff like that if you are overweight. But anyway, I fucking ranted for too long about this. Let's actually watch this video now. Yeah, it's only 30 seconds long, and I've already talked like 2 minutes about this fucking video, and I haven't watched the intro yet. So anyway, let's get into it.
What I eat in a day as a fat bitch who very controversially doesn't give a fuck that she's fat.
Very controversially doesn't give a fuck that she's fat. I'm sorry, I just funny little accent, isn't it? Sorry. I do like it though. I do like that accent. I think it's fucking great. So we've got some Greggs like potato wedges. I've never had a Greggs potato wedge. They look alright. You could do them at home in the air fryer or something like that, and it'd just be probably A, way tastier, and B, probably have a lot less shit in them as well.
For lunch slash dinner at around 12 o'clock, I ended up ordering a Greggs. I had potato wedges.
A Greggs, potato wedges and a hot chicken sandwich. Sorry. So yeah, that's obviously got some like southern fried chicken or some shit. It looks like there's some chutney in there, some mango chutney potentially. Maybe is that cheese? Probably cheese and some onion. There are better options, of course. Like I said, the potato wedges much better if you just get your own potatoes, chop them up, put them in the air fryer. I mean, you can probably even buy pre-cut ones. You can just slap in the air fryer. A lot less shit in it, probably a lot less oil, you know, preservatives, stuff like that. And this sandwich probably be a lot better with, like, you know, chicken breast and probably a bit less chutney, a bit less cheese, stuff like that. You know, you can still have these things with just moderation, right? But having this like whole thing with all those wedges is going to be a lot of calories. So personally, although it might not seem like a lot of food, I know some people's portion sizes are a bit off whack, if we're being honest. Some people's portion sizes are a bit too much, but you know, have like half the sandwich and half the amount of wedges, and that's probably a good, reasonable meal, and it's probably not too high calorie. You could save the other half for the next day or something, but you know, no one's going to do that, of course. Like, I probably wouldn't do that either. I just wouldn't buy it because I know that I'd want to eat the whole thing, so I wouldn't buy it in the first place. But you know, I'm just making a suggestion that if this is what you want to buy, if you want to get this sandwich and you want to get wedges or whatever, maybe do that, you know.
And just a hot chicken sandwich. And I do completely remember, but now I think looking back at my new cousins, I only had 2 cups of tea yesterday. What is wrong with me?
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you? Come on. You need to do better, okay? I can't judge. I haven't had a good cup of tea in fucking ages, probably like over a year at least. I've had like matcha and green tea when I was away in Japan and stuff like that, but I haven't had any like Yorkshire tea or anything like that in a while. I know I'm fake. I'm false. I'm a fake Englishman, okay? But I do love a good cup of tea. I just can't be bothered to make it, to be honest. I'd rather have coffee because it gets me wired off my tits and it gets me going for a good workout. But anyway, I've ranted enough. What the fuck is this? Okay, so it looks like meatballs, spaghetti, and cheese. So it doesn't look like there's too much spaghetti there. I could be wrong. It could just be buried under everything, but it doesn't look like there's a shit ton of spaghetti there, which is good because you'd rather have more protein and more veg than high carbs, especially when you're losing weight. I don't like things like keto. I don't agree with it, but I will say that like the less carbs you have as someone losing weight, it's generally a bit better because carbs are so easy to eat, so easy to overeat, and they're kind of hard to track sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think things like pasta and rice, it took me so long to realize this, but especially with rice, like when they say a cup of rice, they don't mean a cup of like you scoop it up in the thing and then you cook that cup. When they say a cup of rice is like 200 calories, they mean it's already cooked and then you get a cup of it. So basically, like half of the amount you've just cooked or something like that, or a quarter of the amount you've just cooked. It's not a cup of uncooked rice, it's a cup of cooked rice that's 200 calories or something like that, which is insane to me. So yeah, having less carbs, generally a lot more recommended in my opinion if you're trying to lose weight. But if you're like an athlete or something, then, you know, obviously more carbs is a good idea because carbs give you energy and stuff like that. But you don't need that many carbs if you're on weight loss, if I'm being honest. It's better to concentrate on protein and vegetables. Anyway, I've ranted enough. I was going to say, those meatballs, they're probably quite high calorie. So I'd probably cut down a little bit on the amount of meatballs there as well, and then cut down on the amount of cheese, unless you're having like a low calorie cheese, and that's probably not too bad. I would suggest if you want to have more meatballs, at least go for like a leaner meat or something like that, because meatballs can be very high. But you know, if you get like a 5% beef mince or a very lean pork mince, you can mulch up your own meatballs and it'll be quite low calorie, so you can do that. But anyway, let's continue with it.
Basically, I had this big bowl of spaghetti meatballs with loads of cheese on top.
Was it
I'm
big?
still addicted to pasta at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. It's just so easy to become addicted to things like pastas, you know, potatoes, stuff like that. I feel like carbs are some of the most addictive foods you can eat. I don't know what it is, but it just seems to be some of the most addictive foods you can eat. A lot of people that I know who are overweight, they love things like potatoes, fries, you know, stuff like that. And there's a lot of people I know that love rice and spaghetti and pastas and stuff. You know, I don't know many people who are like, yeah, I fucking love me some beef mince, or, you know, some ground beef, as they call it in America or whatever. You know, I rarely know anyone says that, but I know a lot of people who are like, I fucking love potatoes and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, let's continue. So it looks like we've got a donut and a cup of tea, as it says in the caption there.
Then finally, I had this Greg's caramel and custard donut for my late snack with, of course, a cup of tea in bed.
Okay, you know what? That wasn't absolutely abysmal. Definitely wasn't as bad as the previous one. At least she's, you know, getting some. It wasn't great, obviously. It was still very, very carby, like very carby, and obviously quite high calorie. But it's not as bad as I think eating fucking wontons for breakfast, and then eating 4 bowls of cereal or whatever, and then getting a burger at night. You know, at least it was like potato wedges, sandwich, bowl of pasta, a donut, tea. You know, again, not absolutely amazing, but not abysmal, god awful, dreadful. I don't know. Okay, it wasn't good. I'm not gonna say it was good, but I'm coming at this from an angle of my expectations are like down here. So anything that's like slightly a bit above it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's not too bad. It's still quite bad. Obviously, I know that it's still not very good. But because it's like down here, even the slightest bit up there, I'm a bit like, oh, okay, that's not too bad actually. But yeah, it's not good still. Come on, let's get into another one, okay? Alright, we have another one here. What eating today? Fat Girl Edition. Before it starts playing by itself, let's get into it right now. Because TikTok's fucking annoying like that. Oh, I didn't even press play there, but okay. You're starting off your day at 4 PM. Okay. Bit of a unique time to have your breakfast or whatever. You know, I don't know whether you're practicing intermittent fasting or if you just woke up at like fucking almost 5 PM or some shit, but here we are starting off with fries. Not a great way to start your day. And nuggets, of course, again. Not the greatest start to your morning. What's that? Like ranch. Oh, I fucking love some ranch. It's hard to find. Now you can get ranch in the UK. You can, but it's hard to find like the seasoning packets and stuff. I know you can probably buy your own seasoning and make the ranch seasoning yourself. But I know that you can buy like the ranch seasoning packet somewhere, and then you can put that in like a Greek yogurt and have like a lower calorie ranch. I can't fucking find any seasoning packets, and I'm too lazy to go out and buy all these different spices and herbs and shit and slap it into a bowl. But I do love some ranch, so if I can procure said seasoning and get a Greek yogurt, I am absolutely fucking making myself some low calorie ranch, 100%, because I love it. I love ranch. It's really good, but it's not good for me. Ranch doesn't love me, but I love ranch. But anyway, yeah, eating fries and chicken nuggets. I don't know again if this is like first thing when she woke up. It's a weird timeline. But starting off your day with these things is not very ideal, because it's like I said, a lot of these processed foods, a lot of these high ultra processed fried foods and very salty and carby and fatty foods and stuff like that can be, again, not very satiating, and it just makes you want to eat more shit later on in the day as well, you know. I do look alright though. I do like a nugget, and I love some ranch. Oh, burger as well. Jesus Christ, you know, the chips and the nuggets is already like a meal as it is, but throwing a fucking quarter pounder on top of that bitch as well, that's yeah, mega calories. And again, you're gonna be hungry like 20 minutes after this. Ooh, that does look pretty decent though, burger with some ranch in it. Maybe not this specific burger, it just kind of looks a bit sad, but because it's a McDonald's burger, but you know, like a proper burger you put on the fucking barbecue and shit yourself with some ranch. Ooh, that shit will go hard. Of course, you know, it's good you're getting your water in, but you know. And some little fruit snacks. No, I think these are like kind of candy type things, aren't they? Yeah. They're probably fucking ridiculously high calorie for how small they are, type shit. Yeah, or water, good. Gatorade. I mean, I love a Gatorade, but I genuinely think that unless you're doing a lot of sport and a lot of activity, why the fuck are you drinking Gatorade? Like, it's okay. I know you can get like a 0 calorie or like a low calorie Gatorade or whatever. You know, that's probably not too bad. But having like a full sugar fucking Gatorade, you don't need it when you're overweight and not particularly working out very hard and stuff like that. You know, just drink water and cut out a lot of the shit food and you'll be getting plenty of electrolytes. You don't need to be drinking any kind of electrolyte drinks when you're not working out or anything. And ice water, okay, that's good. But you don't need a Gatorade, you could have just had ice water. So what's dinner? Dinner! I actually don't know what that is, but it just looks like chicken and rice. I don't know what the brown stuff is there, but I mean, that chicken looks really under-seasoned, not gonna lie, that shit looks dry. But, hey, that's actually not a bad meal. From what I can see, don't look too high calorie to me. It's just a bit of chicken and rice. That's a good fucking meal right there. Could do with a bit more vegetables or something though. I don't know what that brown stuff is though. Someone's gonna have to tell me what that is because I genuinely have no idea what it is. And I don't know whether it's like good for you, bad for you. I don't know. Could just be some sauce or something. Okay. Capri Sun now, oh, holy sugar. You know, it's not as bad as Sunny D. Anyone remember Sunny D? I don't know if it's a thing nowadays. It used to be everywhere when I was younger. I remember drinking it a lot back in the day. Me and my brother used to fucking drink it a lot when we were kids, which is probably not good because it's absolutely fucking packed full of sugar. Like an insane amount of sugar. It probably has more calories in a single Sunny D than you can have in your whole fucking week. But I used to love it. But anyway, Capri Suns was probably like comparatively probably the healthier option out of the two. But even Capri Suns are very sugary and full of shit, you know. I know you can probably get lower calorie ones or whatever, which you know, if you are going to drink it, you should probably get those because again, like I said multiple times, sugary drinks and stuff like that, so fucking pointless. Just drink low calorie drinks. It's not going to do you any harm. But yeah, Capri Sun's absolutely packed for the sugar. That is a lot of fucking calories just to be drinking. If I'm being honest, you know, and it's not even like a protein shake, so it's not really giving you any nutrients or anything either. Okay. I just noticed that's at like 1 AM, so I'm guessing that this is kind of what she does every day. She kind of wakes up at like almost 5 PM, goes to bed at probably like 2 or 3 AM, rinse, repeat kind of shit. So obviously the dinner apparently was too spicy, so she's drinking more water and a Capri Sun. So yeah, I don't know what a mole is, but it looked pretty decent, but the chicken did look a bit dry. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if that's just her doing it, but hey, and yeah, that's the end of that one. Yeah, it was pretty diabolical. You know, first of all, waking up that late. Now again, she looked like she had late night work. She started work at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something like that. So understandable waking up at that time. You know, you probably didn't finish work until probably 1 o'clock there that she mentioned or something like that. But waking up any time and the first meal you have is like fucking McDonald's or something like that, it's probably not a good idea. Personally, I'd go for something a bit more, you know, less, something that's going to make you feel less shitty in the morning. You know, something a bit more satiating, something a bit more filling. That isn't just meat and grease kind of shit. But the dinner didn't look too bad. I must admit, the dinner didn't look too bad at all. The Gatorade, again, I've said before, don't be having like electrolyte drinks if you don't need it. Let's be honest, if you are very kind of overweight, you don't need electrolyte drinks. You really don't. Just eat less shit food and drink more water, and you'll be getting plenty of electrolytes. And again, Capri Sun, very sugary, very high calorie. Personally, I'd go for a sugar-free option, as I do with all kinds of drinks. You just have sugar-free, because it's just so much better, and you're not going to pile on weight unnecessarily from drinking your calories and stuff like that. But yeah, anyways, yeah, that one wasn't fantastic, although it didn't look too bad, didn't look too high calorie, looked pretty reasonable, pretty decent amount of protein in there as well. So that the dinner was really good, everything else not so much. So we're going to get into another one, see hopefully there's any improvements. Now I found another one here. We've seen this individual before, we've covered him in another video. What I've noticed about this person is that they say when there's a fat person who doesn't diet, they generally do have healthy foods in there. They don't eat a lot of meat and grease and stuff like that. You know, shit food generally, it's generally quite decent. But well, obviously they're not keeping track on how many calories they're eating and stuff like that, hence why they're overweight. And also, you know, they do occasionally partake in like a bit of cake or something like that, but it's generally not insane portions from what we can see when it comes to the cakes and stuff like that. But again, of course, if you're not tracking, even if you're eating relatively healthy for most of the day and snacking on like a little bit of cake, even if it's just a little bit, you can still very much easily go over, even if you are eating healthy. It's like I said with salads multiple times, you can eat as many salads as you want, but if you don't pay attention to the amount of sauce on it, blah blah blah, even though you're eating healthy, you're still eating a lot of calories, and it could still make you overweight even if you are eating healthy. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's see what's going on with this one.
What I eat in a day as a fat person who doesn't diet.
Okay, so just quickly, I will say, as a fat person who doesn't diet, it's not about, I said this multiple times and it sounds obnoxious, it sounds a bit like, oh, whatever, but it's not about dieting, it's about having a lifestyle change, and it's about making reasonable choices about the food we eat and stuff like that. But anyway, let's see.
Green tea.
Okay, so I do love a cream tea. Not gonna lie to you, like a good scone with some clotted cream, some jam. It's like some strawberries there. You know, it's good that there's a bit of fruit there. You know, I like a good cup of tea as well. But I would say it's not a good way to start off your day for like breakfast or whatever, because again, it's very sugary and very fatty, not much protein or anything like that. It's mainly fats and sugars, but generally I would kind of avoid eating this first thing in the morning personally. But anyway, it does look good though. It's really good. Hell yeah.
And real.
I don't know if you lot have this very often, I want to know your opinion on it. Are you a jam first person or a cream first person? Because there's a big debate about it, at least over here, right? There's just this whole fucking thing over here where some people are like, oh no, you can't put the jam or the cream first. It depends, I think, typically whether you're from Devon or Cornwall or something like that. But personally, I just don't give a shit. I do both. I just do whatever my fucking knife or whatever lands on first. If I happen to see the cream first and it's in front of me and it's closer to me, I'll put the cream on first. And if I switch it around, you know, whilst I'm switching around to get the jam or whatever, then I'll put the jam on first for the next one. You know, I'll just do whatever's closer to me. I do not give a shit. It tastes the same either way. But anyway, that's just me. I want to know what your opinions are on this. If you are a jam first or a cream first person, because personally, I don't fucking care. Nice.
Next reminder.
Okay. Picky
Picky plate lunch.
Okay, so there's a good amount of vegetables on there, and there's some apples and shit on there, which is good. You know, I do love nuts, but you've got to be careful with nuts because nuts are very, very high calorie. They're very healthy. There's some good fats and stuff in there, but they are so high calorie. You know, a handful of those nuts is probably more calories than all of that fruit put together and vegetables put together. But anyways, so we've got nuts, and there's some hummus in the middle there. I do love a bit of hummus, but again, hummus is very high calorie because there's a lot of oil in it and a lot of crushed up chickpea and shit. Sausage rolls. I fucking love a sausage roll. Hey, sausage roll. But very high calorie because sausages are naturally high calorie, and then it's, of course, it's pastry, and pastry is very high calorie. And probably it's not the healthiest thing to eat in general if you're fussed about, like, you know, processed foods and stuff like that. And there's maybe some sausage or something on the side there. This little pink meat next to the nuts over there. I think that's sausage, which is probably a bit less calories, but probably just as processed and shit like that. But for the, you know what? For the most part, again, it's like I said, this individual seems to be eating relatively healthy for the most part. It's not like completely insane like some of the other people we've seen where they just eat meat and grease for every single fucking meal. There are some healthy foods on here. In fact, most of it, apart from the sausages, is very healthy, but again, it's very high calorie. Alright. It is nice though. I do love all that stuff on there.
A few of these pick
Okay, you know, I know you're just saying, oh, but you said this person eats relatively healthy. Yeah, in comparison to the other people anyways. But, yeah, obviously eating pick and mix sweets is not ideal. Well, I do love some pick and mix sweets. It's been so long since I've had like any pick and mix or anything like that. I remember going to like theme parks and stuff, and getting like these big buckets, and as long as you buy the bucket, they didn't care how much was in it. So you could literally get these huge buckets, you could fill it up right to the brim and just squeeze that shit down. So even if you went completely insane over the top with the amount of sweets that are in there, as long as you could fit it in the pot, even if the lid was bursting, it didn't matter because you already paid the fixed rate of the pot you bought or something like that. I think it was at like Fort Park or something back in the day. But yeah, you know, just typical fat ass adventures, you know, pretty standard for me. I'm a lot better now, and I try to be better, but sometimes, you know, the fat ass slips in. It's a bit like the Incredible Hulk, you know, for the most part Bruce Banner, but occasionally the Hulk comes out and he's like, oh yeah, you want to fucking eat some sweets, you fat boy. Yeah, I'm just like, oh, not really. I don't want to, but you're forcing my hand. Obviously no one's forcing your hand, you know, you make your own decisions at the end of the day. And if I do decide to eat things like that, obviously I live with the repercussions, and I'm like, yeah, I won't do it again. It was a one-off, and then I move on. I don't beat myself up about it because at the end of the day, we're all human. We all sometimes want to eat shit food, but we just move on the next day. But anyway, eating sweets not the most ideal. I do generally think this person does eat healthier than a lot of the other people do what I eat in the days and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously, this is not an amazing choice, and it's not very healthy, and etc. etc. But we already knew that.
And mixed sweet.
Ale great though. It's been too long. I do love a sweet.
Leftover pad thai.
Okay. Yeah, again, you see what I mean? Like, not absolutely dog shit food, you know. For the most part, it's pretty healthy dinners and stuff like that. Like, generally not god awful, but I would say there's probably a lot of tofu and there's probably a lot of noodles and stuff there as well. It's probably best to have like half the amount of tofu and half the amount of noodles and have more vegetables to it. But it's like I said, this person generally for the most part doesn't eat ridiculously greasy and unhealthy stuff. It's just more high calorie, and the portion sizes are a bit off whack and stuff like that. But this isn't god awful.
I would salt and chili tofu.
Does look really nice though, that.
I was defeated.
But I would say generally, one thing again, this person seems to lack in a lot of the meals again is protein. Like, a lot of it is very much carbs and stuff like that. But it's not unhealthy fats and unhealthy carbs for the most part, apart from obviously the sweets and the jam and scones and and the cream. Everything else has been generally not god awful, and it looks like didn't finish the whole thing either, so there's still some left over there, which is not bad at all. So generally eating a bit less, having a bit less carbs, and having less tofu, yeah, that brings the calorie count down quite a bit, stuff like that. So yeah, that's it could be worse.
Defeated.
All right.
Love you. Bye.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, that last one is not the worst one. It's probably the best one we've seen today. But again, like I said, you gotta think about it from a perspective. I know you're going to be like, oh, but there's still a lot of bad things in there. There's still not a lot of good things in there. Yeah, for sure. It's not ideal. It's not the kind of thing that I eat every day. It's not the kind of thing that most people who live healthy lifestyles eat every day and stuff like that. But again, you've got to think about it from perspective, like I was just about to say. So I'm down here and this video is like up here, so that's already above my expectations. Although it might not be up here, it's still quite a bit above the low line that I've set for the rest of the people who just absolutely gorge on shit all day. So it is generally quite decent. It isn't absolutely god awful, and there are some good things in here for sure. A lot better than all the other ones we've had today anyways. But yeah, I think that's everything I have for you today. This concludes our 8th episode of What I Eat in a Day. I've been really enjoying making these, and I've been really enjoying a lot of the comments and stuff I'm getting and shit like that. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate everyone for nearly getting me to 800 subs and everything like that. It's insane. Do you know what? I am going to set something for a sub goal. So let's say 5,000 subs. Okay, I know it's thinking high, but I'm about to make a tit of myself, because I'm going to set a sub goal, and I'm going to say if we reach 5,000 subs, I'm going to show you a video I made a while ago of where I go through what I eat in a day that I made back in the day, like a year or two ago. I'm going to make a video based off of that, reacting to it, breaking down my own shit food choices or whatever. If you get me to 5,000 subs. Okay, we're nearly at 1,000. We're 200 away almost from 1,000. So we're getting there. It's not impossible. So if we get up there, if you subscribe and everything like that, if you like the video, comment, boost this video in the algorithm, I will make that fucking video. I'll watch it and I will critique my own shit. Okay, so you say, you know, I'm not just being mean to everyone else, that I'll be mean to myself as well, right? But yeah, anyways, we are done with this video today. I really appreciate everyone for watching so far. Make sure to hit like, comment, subscribe, everything like that. Get me up to that 5,000 and I will make that fucking video. I will see you later in the next one. If you see me wearing the same clothes, remember that I'm recording multiple videos on the same day sometimes. So I'm not grotty and wearing the same clothes 5 videos in a row, or well, 2 videos in a row or whatever. So rest assured, alright? But anyways, I'll see you all later. Take care of yourselves and I hope you had an amazing day. You smell wonderful, you look wonderful, you're absolutely chef kiss, but see you later. Take care, yeah?